Alrighty, so last week we added and subtracted positive and negatives, including taking away debt. This week we're going to multiply and divide. So today we're just going to focus on multiplying. Okay? So I'm just going to jump straight into examples and then we'll go from there. So we are going to shift away from using the dot for multiplication, and we are definitely shifting away from using the x for multiplication. I'm going to stick to parentheses. Okay? So let me hop to my examples here. So if I have, I'm going to use some smaller numbers to make my examples. Okay. Alright, so this is 2 times 4. Right? The parentheses indicate multiplication. Multiplication when no other operation is present. Okay, but the way that I'm going to read this is I'm going to read it as 2 groups of 4. 2 groups of 4. And then if I were to draw this out, I would have 2 groups, and each group has how many? 2 groups of 4. Yeah, they each have 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And actually, I'm gonna change this. It's 2 groups of positive 4, right? So I'm gonna draw little pluses. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. My bad. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so if I have 2 groups of 4, how many do I have total? Yeah, they're 8. And are they positive or negative? They're positive. They're all positive. So, of course, we get a positive answer. Okay. Now, what happens if I do this? Do I need to slow down? I'll let you catch up. Tell me to slow down if I need to. Is that junior auxiliary? Your bracelet.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know somebody in JA?
Yeah, my sister.
I was like, what are you looking
She's in the
She's
junior
in-
auxiliary. Kind of auxiliary.
Yeah, cool. I know several people in there. They asked me to be a part of it, and I was like, I love you all, but I don't have time.
Yeah.
Alright, ready? Next example. What if it was like this? 2 times negative 4.
Same thing, but with negative 8.
Yes. So it'd be 2 groups of negative 4. Not 2 groups of 4, but 2 groups of negative 4. So once again, I have 2 groups. But inside each group is how many? Negative 4. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they're all negatives. So if I have groups of negatives, okay, then how many do I have total?
8 negative.
Yeah, they're 8 negatives, or negative 8. They're all negative. Right? Makes sense. 2 groups of negative 4. Alright. What if I have this? What if I have negative 2 times negative 4? This negative out front is going to be read as the opposite. The opposite. Okay. So it's still going to be 2 groups of negative 4 because there's no such thing as negative 2 groups. My groups themselves are just circles. I can't make a negative circle. That's not possible. Okay? So instead we read it as the opposite of 2 groups of negative 4. The opposite of 2 groups. of negative 4. Okay? So I have my two groups. But what's on the inside? What's the opposite of negative? Positive, yeah. So I actually am going to put positive 4 in each of these. Why am I not putting negative? Yeah, so because we're doing the opposite of negative. Okay? I know it says two groups of negatives, but we're taking the opposite of that. Okay? So how many is inside of my groups? A positive. Very good. Okay with that? Alright, one more example. We're going to do this. And once again, this negative out front, I can't have negative 2 groups. Can't have negative 2 circles. That's not possible. Okay, so we're going to read this as the opposite again. The opposite. Yes, my bad. Always tell me. Alright, so we have 2 groups of 4. Because I can't have negative groups. But this tells me to do the opposite of that. So instead of making 2 groups of positive 4, what's the opposite of positive 4? Negative 4. So I put my negatives. So how many are in my groups? Yeah. Well, not 4 negatives. My groups, all of them all together is negative 8. Yeah, there you go.
Why is the second one a positive or negative?
It's got negatives in it because I did the opposite of the 4. It'll be this and division. Well, actually, the tests on Thursday will be adding, subtracting, and taking away debt from last week, and multiplying, dividing this week. So all 4 operations. Alright, we okay with that? So let's go back and observe real quick. So, we've got groups of positives. Well, if I have groups of positives, my answer is positive. Ta-da. If I have groups of negatives, well, my group has nothing but negatives in it, so my answer is negative. If I have the opposite of negative, my answer is positive. If I have the opposite of positive, my answer is negative. Okay? And that's our pattern we're going to go by. A lot of people say, like, 2 negatives make a positive, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people jack up those rules. So I would much rather you understand the grouping concept, okay? But if you need something to help you remember, there is a silly song that I use every year to teach. It's cringy, brace yourself, but it'll also get stuck in your head. Now, he's singing about multiplying and dividing. It's because the rules apply to both. So this will be kind of hammering the facts we've learned today and then a little preview of tomorrow. So here we go.
Positive, negative, and negative. Answers positive till there's different signs. Same signs, positive, different signs, negative. Quotient product signs, same rules apply. Positive and positive, negative and negative. Answers positive till there's different signs. Same signs, positive, different signs, negative. Positive and negative equals positive, positive and positive equals positive. What's the rule for a negative and positive equals negative, positive and negative equals negative. Quotient product sign, same rules apply. positive and positive, negative and negative. Answers positive till there's different signs. Same signs positive, different signs negative. Quotient product signs, same rules apply. Positive and positive, negative and negative.
This is the part you need to remember.
Till there's different signs.
Same sign, positive, different signs, negative. And then the cringy dancers. I love him. But
It looks like a clown.
he makes it memorable. So what he was singing, if I had to guess, he was probably a college student doing an assignment. Same sign, your answer is positive. Same sign, positive. Different sign, negative. Different sign, negative. So if you just remember that piece, that helps you as well. Okay, whatever works for you. Now we are going to take this up a notch. And we're going to do some that has more than one digit. Ready? Okay. So what if it looks like this? What if it is... Alright, so this is all multiplication. Negative 7 times 3 times negative 10. Notice they're just sitting side by side chilling with the parentheses. That indicates multiplication. No need to freak out. We're just going to take 2 at a time. Do what we got to do, okay? Alright, now some of these numbers do get a little bit bigger, so if you want to get your calculator handy, you're welcome to do that. I'm giving you permission to do that. Alright, you ready? So 2 at a time. Let's go. So we're going to do negative 7 times 3. So first we're just going to take the digits, multiply them like normal. What's just 7 times 3? 21. Okay, so this is the opposite of positives, which would be what? Negative. Very good. Or as the song says, different signs, negative. Yeah. Okay, and then we're just going to bring down the times negative 10. We're okay with that. And then we have these two. Negative 21 times negative 10. Well, what is 21 times 10?
85.
No.
I'm sorry.
It's just 210. You just add on the 0, right? It's just 21 with a 0 on it. 210. And then I've got the opposite of negatives, which is what? Positives. Or as the song says, same sign, positive. Boom. And you're done. You alright with that?
I have a question.
Yes.
Is it okay that after we bring down the negative 21 times negative 10,
Mhm.
that we just right beside that equals whatever the answer would be?
That is fine, although I do prefer a Dorito ice cream cone pattern. Just because when this gets longer, more complicated, it's just easier if you just come down and then the answer is nice and pretty at the
Okay.
bottom. I mean, I'm not going to count all for it, but just in the future, if you just get in the habit of it, that would be beneficial for me as far as grading. It's just a preference thing. Let's do another one. Let's do... Negative 3 times negative 2 times 6. Negative 3 times negative 2 times 6. So once again, we're just going to do the first two, starting. Don't pick any two. It's the first two looking left or right. You know? You be random with this. Alright, negative 3 times negative 2. Well, what's just 3 times 2? 6, thank you. Alright, so we're going to do the opposite of negative, which is what?
Negative 2?
It is.
Okay.
Sorry, it looks like a Z. It's not. Alright, so the opposite of negatives is positive, or as the song says, same sign, positive. And then I'm going to bring down the times 6 over here. So now I have just 6 times 6. And what is 6 times 6? 36.
And,
Yes?
and by the way, are we going to do the multiplication under
Yes, we've got to do it sometime. I've got to get my life together.
I agree.
We are.
On this test, can you use your calculators?
I'm going to just give you problems that have smaller numbers where you shouldn't need a calculator. Okay? I just want you to get the negatives and positive things straight in your head without a calculator. Is where I'm at. That's the focus. So you can use the calculator on the bigger number stuff, but like I said, on the quiz, I'll do my best to keep those numbers small. All right, let's do one more, and then we're gonna be done.
So for these, you guys really easy.
Good. Hopefully it stays that way. Positive and positive. -4 times 6 times -3 times -4. This will be our last one. That's not focusing. Alright, we're going to take the first two. Alright, -4 times 6. Abby, what's 4 times 6? Bless you.
24.
Yeah, it's 24. And Abby, this is the opposite of positive, so our 24 is going to be what sign?
Negative.
Yep, negative, the opposite of positive. Different signs, negative. Good job. Bring everything else down. Alright. Adelie, will you tell me what 24 times 3 is? Is it like, you can do it with a calculator. I think it's like 82. 72, my bad. I was close. 72. Alright, Adelie, if it's the opposite of negative, what's the opposite of negative? Positive. Yep, exactly. So we're going to leave that as 72. Same sign, positive. Good. Bring down the -4. Alright. Who else has a calculator handy? Annabelle, what is 72 times 4?
Negative 288.
Okay, so it's 288. And how do you know that it's negative?
Different sign.
There you go. Different signs, negative. Fabulous. Or groups of negatives are negative. Absolutely. Any questions about that? Alright, and that is how you multiply positive and negative numbers. Oh wait, let me give you homework. Just kidding. Hardy har. Alright, so, well, I just want to do it on camera. So 7th grade, yours is on page 118. And it's these numbers that you are going to set up in boxes. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11, 13. That's 7th grade. Why is this not focusing? Thank you. And then 8th grade. Seventh grade, you can go ahead and set up your boxes. Alright, 8th grade.
Just came.
Ready? Yours is on page 112. You're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 13, 14. Alright. Now we're done. In less than 20 minutes.
Thank you for watching.
Subscribe.